Right. In the München, that one. What captain are we going to slap in this thing? Probably it's just my Nuremberg captain. That'll do. So this thing has a lot in common with the Nuremberg, especially when you look at the armour scheme. 16mm, 20mm side plate, 25mm deck, and all of that is basically the same as the Nuremberg. I can't remember offhand what the belt is, but 50mm belt is not exactly super strong. And if you take a look at the Citadel, oh boy, that's so much Citadel above the waterline. So yes, it is technically turtleback, but yeah, pretty thin armour, and it's so high above the waterline. That is a lot of Citadel sticking up. So yeah, that makes it exactly as squashy as it seems. It's also, I think, got the same 150mm guns, faster reload, but you have one less gun in this 4x2 arrangement, whereas of course the Königsberg and the Nuremberg both have 9 guns in a 3x3. It is, as Siltstride points out, though, it is a fast cruiser for tier 7 with Sierra Mike, which we shall put on momentarily. It gets 37 point something, 38 knots. I can't remember offhand. I'll see in a second. So Sierra Mike, 37.8, so nearly 38 knots. So you really are relying on, well, anything shooting at it will love it. You're relying on partly the good stealth, the exceptional stealth, in fact, 9.4 kilometers is really very good, and you're relying on the speed and to some extent it's got an okay rudder shift. You might want to, we might want to actually enhance that steering gears. You're going to need all of the maneuverability you can get, so 6.6 is pretty speedy. Artillery, what's this? Torrent traverse, 20 seconds, not super great. Do I want that? AA guns, I don't think the AA is anything spectacular. 191, 5.2 kilometer range. It's nothing special really, is it? Definitely take engine room protection. Main armament. What do we want for this slot here? It's got a good rate of fire. It's basically a very high risk ship. Viper Socks. The games have been, we've had a trio of Anchorage games so far. They've been okay. Let's go for that. Main battery mod 2. Let's get the faster turret traverse. Which doesn't help a huge amount at the moment. We do have Hydro, but you also got the option of a defensive. So, rest of the flags. Let's put on the rest of the flags. Definitely want the anti-detonation flag. What's the fire chance? 10.5. So as it's a German, well, just a German cruiser, you don't need IFHE on it. 10.5 is not bad. We could even put that up to 11% fire chance. We'll stick on a couple of economic flags as well. Right, I think that's good to go. So yeah, it's fast, extremely squashy, easy to kill, but has a very good rate of fire. So it's definitely a high-risk ship. The range is okay. The range is nothing too special. But at least it doesn't have a bad range. Right, good matchmaking. I think you're more likely to get good matchmaking with a tier 7 cruiser than you are a tier 8 cruiser. And if you've played a particularly high amount of games in either the Königsberg or the Nürnberg, then you'll pretty much know what you need to do for the München? I will get it eventually, maybe. Wow, that's a name. Farty Towels. Okay. Okay, the second attempt was, okay, I'll try and emulate that then. So yeah, nearly 38 knots with a cruiser is pretty good. All the lack of armour is made up for somewhere. It's also got the standard 6km German torps as well. Only one set per side. So, nothing special there. The angles are alright though. Angles are certainly better than the Anchorage had. Sadly, no fully traversing turrets. Like this one here looks like it might be able to fully traverse, but it cannot. It's one feature it does kind of miss. I personally quite like this balanced gun layout, but it does mean 4 guns versus the 6 you have for kiting away with on the 2 lower tier German cruisers. So it's not quite as good in that regard, but the speed is certainly enough to let it run away from a lot of things. Viper socks! Thank you very much. And heck, the AP is pretty good as well. I think you've got to be a bit closer to use that. Also, California, a rare sighting of someone actually in a California. So there we go, nice first hit. Not someone aiming at me, however. Murmansk, presumably using his spotter to try and shoot me at that range. So it's definitely a kind of seat of your pants light cruiser. Personally, when we were playing it to test it out a bit, I was sort of enjoying it, but that's offset a bit by the games where someone just goes click and you get utterly obliterated. It's all fine and dandy until somebody shoots you, and then it all goes downhill very quickly. Assuming that's the Shiratsuyu that's keeping me spotted right now. Ouch! That was just a Fiji. You see how squashy this thing is. I say just a Fiji, of course. Those AP shells are nasty, but that's the kind of damage you would think you'd take from like a heavy cruiser or something. 9k damage from a Fiji. Oh, it was New Orleans actually. Okay, it was a heavy cruiser. I think it was the New Orleans rather than the Fiji that shot me there. That would make more sense. That would definitely make more sense. So now we just dodge like our life depends on it, which it absolutely does. Oh, hello, buyer. That's who else is targeting me right now. Ouch! So yeah, citadels from basically any angle. This is probably not going to be one of the better games, just on the basis of having lost so much health already. Fire chance, I've gotten it up to 11%. I think that's the maximum fire chance you can get with flags, captain skills. It is demo expert on this captain. Yes. So 11% is the very best fire chance you can get. Oh yeah, you don't have to worry about angling because everything will pen you. I think the only thing this armour is going to work against is other light cruisers. Alright, we'd actually have to get closer to hit anything now. So, heavy cruisers, battleship shells, they will wreck you so hard because that citadel is really quite high up. Oh hey, A-Town. Might require beer to work properly. Probably right. Got a nice AR bonus right now though. Just over a 4-second reload. That's what we wanted, right? Not sure why the Fiji's coming forwards when there's so many ships here, but it's a bold move. Give it that. Oh, somebody else must have whacked him hard because there's no way I hit him hard enough to get that kill. Right. It probably does require beer to work correctly. I don't know. No. It's just at the very edge of range. I've had some okay games in this, but it sort of depends what map you get. Because of the shell arcs, it means you can actually use some island cover more than other ships can. But this isn't particularly a great map for that. Oh, California's doing a good representation of the US right now, which is also quite on fire. Or bits of the US anyway. Oh! Come on, California, die! Yeesh. I'm really trying to get towards this smoke in time. I don't know if I'm going to make it. So yeah, if you ever wanted to play a tier 6 cruiser at tier 7 and get into tier 9 games, then this is the ship for you. California and Oregon, from what I've been reading in the news. Some of the pictures are downright scary, just completely orange skies. Right, there's a blob of ships, of battleships, slowly advancing. To be fair, most of them are slow battleships. I've had much better damage games than this. Well, they tend to be maps where you have lots of island cover to use, or more island cover than this anyway. What was the point of that, Gnevny? If you smoked up to try and shoot people, then it requires someone to be spotting? Right, if you paired up this thing with its rate of fire with the Belfast, that would be a nasty combination. This and a Belfast sitting in smoke, belting out high explosive shells at you over and over again. Ooh. That would be downright nasty. Do I risk opening fire? I mean, we are heavily winning. Let's see if we can get some more damage out of it. This Bayern is almost certainly going to go. Oh, that's a low health cruiser. Or a DD. Yeah, it was work with the DD as well. No, I mean it's a target-rich environment right now, so yeah. But still, if I was him, I'd go. That's a low health cruiser. Just have them a mask in range. No, never mind. Not even 40k damage. Oh well, only 3 fires though. You're going to need more fires than that to do any decent amount of damage. Give that another go. It's less than a week to go until the camera gets here, by the way. I've also ordered him, I did splurge a little bit, I ordered him a nice little square cat bed thing. Because his perch at the moment is basically an old folded up shirt on top of a wooden table. So we'll have a proper actual cat bed. He's completely spoiled, this cat. Completely spoiled. Aren't you, Sam? Completely spoiled. Top tier again. And this actually is a much better map, potentially. I'm sure I love the box the bed comes in. Probably. Let's see what we get in terms of spotting. But yeah, these islands here are a good spot to start with. Heck, this island here. All of these islands are kind of, you know, usable to some extent. Well, he does use the scratching post I got him, which was mildly surprising to me, to be honest. My stepmom rolled her eyes when I bought it. Was like, he's never going to use that. And I was kind of thinking, yeah, he probably won't. But he actually does. Still occasionally scratches at the carpet as well. But mostly he just uses the scratching post. Yeah, I've started letting him out a little bit First time was a couple of days ago, and then I let him out for a couple of hours today. He actually turned up just as I was finishing having a shower. I had my bathroom window open to let the steam out, obviously, and this furry shape appeared. So I then just cranked it open and let him hop in that way. So I don't have a cat flap or any such thing like that. Oops, spotted, so that's a destroyer. Question is where, because if it's here... No, okay, it was here. Trento's not going to be able to spot me there, that's fine. So yeah, basically on days when it's nice, which is probably going to be fewer and fewer of them when it, as it goes further into wintry weather, just let him out a couple of times a week. I'm still a bit paranoid because when I have let him out, I just sit there fretting the entire time. First time I did it, I was like, oh, is he going to come back? Is he going to be lost forever? Oh no, my precious little Sam. But he is chipped. Oh dear. Oh, Nicholas. Oh no. Rip. There goes our spotting. Everyone else is on the other flank, so let's start moving away from here. I mean, the Colorado's going forwards, but I don't think that's a good plan, Colorado. I'd like to ping him to get back, except there's an island in the way. Yeah, he's turning around. Right, this is definitely running away time, which this ship does have the speed for, fortunately. I don't know if I'm feeling quite confident enough to let him out all night, AGC. I mean, he's only been out twice so far, and we are fairly near to a somewhat busy road. So I don't know how good he is with the road, but I certainly wouldn't want him being out all night. He certainly is a vocal cat, though. He wouldn't be shy about going, meow, meow, let me in, let me in. He would not be shy about that at all. I think I briefly got spotted by the kamikaze here. Colorado's taking a slightly unusual route and might actually survive long enough to come up that way. That kamikaze will be a problem. I don't have any particular counter to them on this side. I mean, I've got good hydro at least. I've got German... Where are we? Yeah, 5.5 km ships, 3.75 on torps. Yeah, he's here. There's not really a lot we can do except not make things particularly easy. It's the spotting that's more annoying than anything else. Trento's still just lurking. And I wish how Nicholas hadn't derped in and died so early. So yeah, for a cruiser, being able to sustain 30 knots in a turn without having any kind of speed boost, pretty nice. Right, let's ping Hydro. wait to see if someone fires at me so I get some spotting. Can't really afford to abandon the cap to this destroyer entirely. Right, they are keeping their distance, it seems like. I would have expected them to be a lot closer than that. Is CK3 worth it? I would say if you like CK2, yes. It does have a few issues, but compared to a lot of other Paradox games at launch, it's just a much stronger product, a much stronger game than their last couple of big titles that they've developed themselves. Hello, Scharnhorst. There is some, like, some of the AI is, as I've been playing it, I think some of the AI is a bit wonky feeling. As Kamikaze, just caught him with my it's been a bit weird watching the AI rulers do their thing and see the kind of madness that can result. I posted a screenshot on Twitter a couple of days ago of what was happening in Spain in one of my games. It was just absolute border gore, but it was kind of divided between a couple of like kingdoms you would expect to see in Iberia, but also Scandinavian rulers and Wales, and it was all a complete hodgepodge mess basically. So yeah, and at the moment empires seem to blob quite hard as well. The bigger empires that you start the game with, I mean principally Byzantium, but some of the other ones as well, tend to just get bigger and bigger and bigger. There doesn't seem to be any particular penalty for big empires in the game at the moment. So in some, I mean, in some ways things are, I think, simplified a little in terms of making them a bit easier for newer users, but it's still got pretty much everything you would expect to find in a playable Crusader Kings game. It's just missing some stuff in terms of the extra content, like you can't have a chat with the Chinese emperor, for example, or you don't have a treasury of items, and there's a whole bunch of stuff like that. You can't send people off to make their own mercenary companies. Can't play republics yet. Hello, Kamikaze. Right, this is the point. I'm about to get Hydro back. This is the point where that speed plus Hydro combo is going to be very useful. Yeah, it's fine. Plus the fast rate of fire. I was playing a risky game, this Kamikaze. I don't think he's counting on my speed though. Yep, I'm a speedy cruiser, Kamikaze. Oh god, have I overturned? Don't overturn. Yeah, well, that has cost me a lot of speed. Oh, gold. That was a bit daft. Yeah, the map, like, there is a lot to play. There is a lot of replayability. You can look at different areas of the map and get quite a lot a different experience. There's, I think, at least a couple hundred more provinces than they were in CK2. So some of it is expanded provinces in existing areas of the game, and some of it is outright new areas, particularly in the south of the map, and I think the very far east of the map. And there's also some good mods out already, although the mods are kind of in their infancy right now. Right, not a huge amount of damage, but yeah, we took out that destroyer. Getting primogeniture succession is a lot harder. Yeah, that's true. It's a huge tech grind to get to primogeniture now. I'm sure somebody somewhere will mod that. I'm pretty sure I remember reading it has more provinces. The number of baronies, like the number of subdivisions, might have gone down. But I'm pretty damn sure I saw it has more provinces. But if I'm wrong about that, you know, feel free to correct me. Let's try the AP here, but he is rather angled, but... back to high explosive. But Gonya or Stalingrad, I mean, Stalingrad's probably the more solid choice. Can't really go wrong with the Stalingrad. Right, there's somebody else targeting me right now, which I don't especially like, and he's also trying to put his other set of taunts now. I'm just kind of racing for cover and hoping to kill this Algeru before I die. Do all of the dodges right now. Oh, there he goes. Dodge, dodge, dodge. Right, and now hopefully we can just use some island cover to pew pew at people. How can you convince Chrysanthos to sell you the Belfast? I suspect that would require some dark, arcane goings on that probably wouldn't be legal in a lot of countries. What are my opinions on the ship? It's exceedingly fragile. It's all the squashiness of a tier 5 or tier 6 cruiser at tier 7. But it's also very fast and has a very good rate of fire. And with it being German HE, you don't even need IFHE. But yeah, it gets punished exceedingly easily. So it's just not going to be to everyone's taste. It's definitely not going to be to everyone's taste. But I've certainly had my moments in it so far. Let's get a Hydro guy. He's almost certainly going to be putting his own torps out. Now, as this is a Shan horse, I don't really have to worry so much about his AP, so that's fine. That's a nice bump to my damage. Am I using any mods? For CK, do you mean? I have tried the... what's it? The vampire mod a bit, the one that's been getting a little bit of press attention. I say press attention. I saw it on Rock Paper Shotgun, which is about one of the few gaming sites that I do follow in any way. And there's also a mod that adds in the immortality trait, because all the kind of supernatural stuff is not in the game. So, sadly, no demonic cult horse immortal chancellor half-sister lovers or anything like that. Which is probably a thing you could wrangle in CK2. But yeah, I was curious if you had because the vampire thing gives immortal characters as well. But I was curious if you had an immortal character in just the regular game. How overpowered could you make that character once you start just racking up all of the different lifestyle trees? And the answer, it turns out, is pretty overpowered. Am I using any mods for warships? Oh, okay. This is the only in-game kind of affecting mod. Well, actually, there's that and the timer, basically. So, I think those are the only mods that I see when I'm in-game. But I'm pretty sure I've got some import mods as well. Principally the tech tree one that lets you view all the tech tree stuff. And I think I've got one that unlocks the replays limit without me having to go and edit a config file. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and one that basically versions my replays folder, which is quite handy for me. So I tend to be fairly minimal with my mods. The timer one does have some very useful utility, and this one's more just because I often forget what captain skills I'm playing with, and it's useful to be able to show on stream. I know we're capping, I just want more damage! I want more damage! I've done a lot better with fires in this game, so presumably I'll have more fire damage out of it. Yeah, there's no religious societies or anything like that, Manti. So I imagine that's going to be its own DLC at some point. Some things they'll have deliberately held back because, I mean, trying to put everything in at launch would probably be a bit bonkers, but also, you know, they're going to want some stuff they can sell as DLC. But I suspect there were some things that were intended to be in the game that got cut just because it was coming down to it in terms of their publication date. And they thought, okay, we'll put that in later. That's less important right now. 83k, that was alright. So yeah, that was a not terrible game. I kind of like this ship myself. But it is exceedingly easy just to get smacked around because of that very high citadel. It's very exposed. So, as to whether I would recommend buying it or not, if you hated playing the mid-tier German light cruisers, there's no way you're going to like this. I think the idea is it's more supposed to be like a tier 7 Mainz, but I don't think it does really play like the Mainz at all. Mainz has got a bit more armour to work with. I think more importantly, the Mainz has got more range to work with. But it's also rather slower. Just do a quick comparison of the two, why not? So, Mainz is 17.5 kilometres, which is much more comfortable. I think it's the same reload. No, it's actually a slower reload. 6 seconds. So, how did I say it before? München? Something like that. That's got the rate of fire. This is also slower, a lot less sneaky. I think that's a worse turn radius. Yeah, 30 meters, not a huge one, but yeah. Well, Mainz does have more guns. You know, these are triple turrets, whereas the München has the double turrets. So I don't know. There's witchcraft in CK3. I've not actually seen any witchy characters yet. But I think that's more of a, you've accused this person of being a witch kind of thing. That's more to do with kind of mysticism rather than actual supernatural magic stuff. So the Mainz is basically the same. It's like Nürnberg guns, but on a hipper hull. Only it's a bit squashier than the hipper. So it's basically a what if.